All right, welcome to Geography 110, IDS 101, and a bunch of other stuff. And this is Economic Geography of the Industrial World. I'm Professor Walker, and welcome all of you. It looks like a nice turnout. We are slightly oversubscribed, but I don't think it'll be a problem. I think it'll all shake out. It usually does. And I've got ways of widgeting things to accommodate you all. Since we've got about 117, I think officially we can hold 110, something like that. So it should work. Now, I know the first day is always a dread, sitting on the steps and so on. But as you know, all of you don't show up every day, so we all fit quite nicely with 100 people. Okay, I have this little microphone, not because I need it for you, but because this is being a podcast. And it's a podcast for you, and it's a podcast for people around the world who actually listen to me, which is quite amusing. You have to, but they do voluntarily. It always amazes me, so thank you, all of you people out there, for making me feel more important and making this more fun. All right, so today I'm going to give you an introductory lecture. You have a syllabus. We will go through that syllabus right at the end. I don't want to waste time on silly questions about, is there an exam? Yes, there's a couple exams, okay? So look on your syllabus, there's exams. They're pretty easy. We'll talk about them later. But the course has a lot of material, so I talk fast, I put up a lot of stuff, and I hope you will enjoy it. So let's see what we got. Introduction to 110, Economics, Geography, and Political Economy. So we have today sort of three crises facing the United States, which we will speak to in this class. And one is this kind of crisis of geography, another is of the economy, and another is of politics. So I've named my three parts of this introductory lecture, Geography and Economy, the Economy, and Political Economy. I say that even though you can read because there are people listening. However, in general, I don't have a lot of blah blah on my PowerPoints. I use them just as outlines. So try to listen to me and only write down what you need, because you can get the outline later. You can go back and look at it later. Sorry. And finally, I'll go through the course outline. Do you really want to stand up the whole time? No. Okay. I have to stand. Is there a seat? Oh, the chair down. No, there's a chair over here if you want. Okay. Let's click. This thing is slow. It's an old computer, so it's pretty slow. All right, so let's start with geography and economy. And just for openers, I have to say that this is a course about economics, about the economy. That's fundamentally what it's about. But the economy has a geography. And people forget that. Whoops. Most of all, economists. Economics generally has no geography. Sorry, I got to close that door. I don't know if you hear it, but I sure do. I'll try to leave it open a little for some air. And if you can open the back one a little for air, that'd be good too. So you have an economy that's full of, they talk about markets and firms and investors and financiers and so on, workers and innovation, but it's largely placeless in economics. It's a lot of great equations, mathematics, and so on, but basically nothing happens anywhere, which doesn't make any sense, because as we know, corporations have headquarters, they have networks, we have trading lines between countries, between particular ports, we have innovation taking place in Silicon Valley, not just anywhere, we have job losses that are differentially distributed across the country, and so on. So everything, if you look around, virtually everything in economics has a geographic dimension. I'm not going to say every last thing, but virtually everything. And we're very slack about that. We tend to be very slack in our thinking. Americans are the worst because we don't know anything about geography. But we think we know a lot about economics. But what's interesting is today we live in a global world, global economics, global economy, and we're beginning to find out more about economic geography all the time. Okay, so the simple assumption is when you do get any geography in economics, you get national economies. There's the U.S. economy, there's the French economy, there's the Japanese economy, and they trade. And sometimes they send capital across the ocean. And that's about it. That's their idea of an economy. It's just on one scale, the national, and one kind of interaction that's above all, which is trade. But that's not right either, because the economy occurs at a whole set of scales, which we'll talk about. There are urban economies. There's the California economy, regional economies, the economy of Shanghai and the Shanghai region, North versus South China, East versus West China. These matter a great deal. And all the way up to, how about the European Union? That's not a national economy. It's an international grouping created by national states. So what is that? How does that fit? How do we deal with that? And then the extent that economists talk about movement and dynamics in a geographic sense, they basically talk about prices, because that's what they love is prices. Everything's around prices and how markets clear and so on. And the idea that price differences between places will make for trade, make for migration, make for capital movement, and so on. Basically saying that factors flow downhill. That is, sorry, thank you lads for leaving the door open. Migrants will flow to the highest wages, capital will flow to the lowest costs. I guess that's uphill. I guess labor goes uphill, which is pretty typical. Labor has to go uphill all the time. So what kind of economic geography do we see confronting us, smacking us upside the head every day? Every time I open the newspaper, I see economic geography. Let's see which one. I'll come to these. Oh yeah, one of my favorites. We'll get back to this. Here's one of my favorites. Bring Me Sunshine. It's an article in The Economist, which is a weekly economics magazine, goes back 150 years, which I read. And so here's an article: The Sudden Popularity of a Controversial American Economist. His name's Richard Florida. He's an old friend of mine. We used to hang out at conferences, exchange articles, and all that sort of thing. He's gone on to become a famous consultant, while I'm still laboring away here, earning my lousy professor's salary. Well, that's a pretty good salary, but not like what he makes. Yes, he just invited him over to London. David Cameron, Prime Minister of England. Of course, ironically, they call him an economist, and he's actually a geographer. But that's what we have to live with in geography. So, a world on the move here. Oh, come on, it's so slow. So, economics are dynamic. The economy is not an equilibrium system, settling out and creating nice level prices. We don't see that. Every day, every week, every year, as you go through your life, you'll see the economy changing. If there's one thing that I would think that I would agree with von Hayek or any other economist, is that capitalism is an extremely dynamic system. Well, if it's a dynamic system, what does that mean for space and place and geography? It means that geography is always changing. The places where things are, which firms are growing, which countries are growing, which are shrinking, which are in crisis, which are having a financial blow-up. Those things change constantly. And every time they erupt in a place. You have the Thai economic financial crisis of 1996, the Mexican financial crisis of 1994, the Argentinian economic financial crisis of 2001, the California budget crisis that goes on forever. So here's some examples. If I can ever get this thing to click. Come on, you little butter. Oh, whoops. Rats. Back. Oh, no. Oh, crap. All right, hold on. We're going to get it here. I did click it again. Wow. Oh, God. All right, sorry, everybody. I'm determined to get that slide back. Okay. Well, one of those obvious things that's happened really within your lifetimes, but certainly within mine, is the rise of East Asia. That East Asia has become a capitalist powerhouse, an industrial powerhouse, the workshop of the world. Japan, first of all, then the Gang of Four, then Northeast Asia, then Southeast Asia, and China. What's the second biggest economy in the world today? It's China. It's just passed up Japan. Got a good long ways to go to get to the U.S., but it will. It's predicted. A couple, 20 years, 15 years. And then there's India. Nobody ever talked about India, of course, like this for years. All of a sudden, India is a darling of the investors, growing at 9% a year. Who the heck would believe that? So this is a world on the march. East Asia is a world on the march due to the development of capitalism and industrialism there. In your lifetime, basically, a little more. I'm afraid you're all getting younger as I get older. But since roughly 1980, trade and economic relations across the Pacific have exceeded those across the Atlantic. Now, the Atlantic basin was the center of the world economy for 500 years, virtually, from the European conquest, the Spanish conquest of the Americas. It has been the Atlantic. Well, it took a little while to pass the Mediterranean, but it did that within a century. So let's say 400 years. Let's not exaggerate. And all of a sudden, in virtually your lifetime, it's the Pacific. What's that about? Well, it's about the rise of Asia, isn't it? Though it also has a big effect on California because we happen to be on the Pacific Rim. What about Europe going from a motley crew of 20 different individual countries constantly at war with each other, producing 2 world wars in the 20th century that devastated the world, and certainly Europe, and all of a sudden now, in the last 40 years, 50 years, we have the European Union, which went through a set of steps that I'll talk about in another lecture. The euro. People talk about the euro as a challenger to the dollar in international finance. Where did that come from? Isn't that kind of geographic? I would say. The European Union is a major competitor with the United States. It's not just Japan and China, but the EU. They're the competitors, political counterpoint, and major player. In some ways, the second biggest economy on earth is not China, but the EU. Well, sometimes it claims to be the largest. I don't know what the latest figures are. I have to look. How about globalization of finance in your time? 24/7 stock trading and bond trading around the world. Guys go to work in San Francisco at 4 in the morning to be able to trade with Japan and New York, and so on around the globe. Trillions and trillions of dollars a day are exchanged around the world, in currency transactions especially, but also bonds, stocks, and other kinds of investments. That's hugely geographical, right? But it doesn't go everywhere. We tend to think, oh, well, it must go everywhere. I like this. This is a, I don't know what this is to cover. Oh, Global Finance. That's the journal, right? Full steam ahead. The global economy is proving remarkably resilient in the face of repeated shocks. That, of course, dates from 2005. It didn't work out that well for them, but you can imagine, of course, they're a trade journal. They would be thinking about how great things are. Nice little map of global financial centers there. Hard to get good maps because people don't think in terms of maps. Okay. And what about the U.S. in this world on the move? The U.S. is really edgy. Have you noticed? We're not like a really big happy family these days. Well, what's that about? Does that have anything to do with economic geography? I think it does. We see a lot of anger, a lot of political upheaval in this country. What's going on? What is it about economic crisis, and political crisis, and economic competition, and globalization, and job loss that's making people so angry? Does that play a role? I mean, remember Clinton's famous slogan for getting elected back in 1992, "Is the economy stupid?" The one thing that explains political results in presidential elections more than anything else is the state of the economy. And if Obama loses, it'll be about that more than virtually anything else. Probably that more than anything else. Even though, of course, there are plenty of people who like to hate him for all other kinds of reasons, like race, like liberalism, supposedly, and so on. But really, in the end, the economy got him elected in the financial crisis of 2008, and the economy will probably cost him his job. Maybe you should know about that. Well, wow. I love it when I open up the paper and I get headlines. Now, this is what you can't get on the web, and I know none of you read newspapers anymore. But God, I just love a big, shouty headline, big, screaming headline. And I try to get them on the web somehow, and you just can't. They're great for lectures, so you have to scan them, and I'm too lazy to do that, so I just brought it in here. Oh, my God, what now? So what's that about? Steve Jobs resigned. Well, he's clearly been dying slowly for years. I hope he hangs in there for his own sake. But here's a guy who's been like the most famous face on American technology. Apple is the world's most valuable corporation. Well, it lost how many percent yesterday? 20% or something? So I'm not sure it still is, but it was. It's a brilliant success story. Most all of you have some Apple product, right? Unbelievable. Does that have a geography? Where's Steve Jobs? Oh, he's in Palo Alto, right next to that guy Zuckerberg. Now, they make movies about that, and Zuckerberg goes to California because it's sunny or something and hangs out and drinks. But why does he go to California? Why does he go to Palo Alto? He goes there because that's where the action is in tech. And that's because it's Silicon Valley. It's a place. Is it any place? No. Is Google any place? No, it's everywhere, but it's not everywhere. Facebook is everywhere, and it's not everywhere. In fact, Zuckerberg didn't start here, right? Steve Jobs grew up here. Zuckerberg did not. What did he do? He moved here. Why? Because that's the place to be in tech. If you want to be a singer, if you want to be an actress, you go to Hollywood, right? If you want to be a techie, you go to Silicon Valley. Now, the S&P lost $52 billion yesterday because of Steve Jobs. Wow. Now, that's an edgy stock market. And we know the stock market's been really edgy. Steve Jobs, personally? Holy scamoles. What's that about? That's about America's fear and capitalist fear of losing the technological edge. Well, he goes, who will ever design another great product? Maybe it'll be some Chinese person. Oh, God. Then we're done. I mean, the only thing we can do really well now is design beautiful computers and iPods and iPads, right? That's what we do really well. What else do Americans do really well? Huh? We eat? Oh, yeah, we eat like hell. Yeah, that's true. We grow a lot of corn. We grow a ton of corn. Well, that's great, okay? What else do we do? Yeah, what do we do? Can you be a little more serious? Okay, we're going to run the economy on avocados. Huh? Oh, we're the world's biggest arms exporter. We do that really well. We know how to kill people. And we talk about terrorists. Yeah. Well, that is true. That is true. But that will come back to when we talk about finance. Good point. Speculation in commodities. Absolutely. And that's geographic too. Has big geographic effects. But part of the problem is what the U.S. does is that we speculate in finance. What do we actually make? You have a hard time. This is amazing. What do we actually make, people? Huh? Some cars. Yeah, some cars. Used to be the word. Making Twitter. Is that a thing? That's what we make. You're right. We make chit-chat. Yeah, we make software for chit-chat. That's pretty good. I mean, hey, if that's what human beings want to do. If they want to drive in cars, make cars. If they want to chit-chat, which they always do, you make chit-chat. Yeah. We're really good at entertainment. Terrific at entertainment. Still, although Bollywood's coming on strong, but Hollywood's still king. Yeah. We just serve pizzas to each other. Yeah, and that, you can really build a world-beating economy on pizzas, right? I mean, the Chinese made it to number 2 by making a lot of noodles. No, that's not how they did it. No. Okay, so that's enough of that. So then we get another one. Well, jobs. Everybody's talking jobs. I don't know why they're talking now, because, of course, the jobs have been catastrophic for now going on 3 years. All right? Horrendous. Unemployment. Millions of people unemployed, and so on. Well, so now we have a debate, this was in the Chronicle a couple days ago. Rick Perry's jobs miracle in Texas, just a mirage, some say. What's Rick Perry running on? His number one issue, I think it is, other than his beautiful Texas twang, is that Texas created something like half of all the jobs in the U.S. in the last 2 years, which isn't saying much because the U.S. didn't create many jobs. But Texas did create a lot of jobs. Did Rick Perry do that? Who did it? Does Texas have the answer? Is that not economic geography? Why Texas, my people? And anybody tell me why Texas was so great? There he goes again, speculating in corn and no. That's one reason, but it's not the only reason. Oh, sorry, the noise level is getting me again. Can you keep it down out here? Can you keep it down out here, please? Thank you. One guy on his cell phone. It sounded like a crowd. Okay. Excuse me. Who else had an answer? Texas. Why is Texas so great? Oil. Yeah. The oil economy is doing great guns. Fracking. You do fracking for gas. Where do you get the equipment? Where in Texas? Great answer. Where in Texas do you get oil equipment? Huh? Anybody from Texas here? Yeah. Well, see, you know economic geography. Houston's the greatest center of oil equipment in the world. Another thing, what's another thing Texas does? That California does. And it's not Hollywood, even though it did produce Britney Spears, right? No, she's Louisiana. What else? Yeah, you think they built their economy on prisons? Yeah, I suppose you could say they got some jobs there. It's a big job maker here, too. Electronics. Number 2 state in the country for electronics is Texas, I believe. It vies with Massachusetts. I mean, California's number 1. But this electronics has been doing really well. Texas has been doing well off that, too. Now, there are probably other reasons. Oh, here's another reason. They didn't have a housing meltdown this time because they had regulations on their mortgage lenders. So Texas, which Perry is selling as the deregulated Wild West state, actually had more regulation than California, which is supposed to be the yokum-chokum regulatory state. And so what? Their housing market didn't blow up in the same way. What does that mean? They don't have hundreds of thousands of people unemployed like California who used to be in construction and real estate. And then, when you don't have a collapse, you don't lose the revenues in your budget. So, for the first 2 years of the Great Recession, Texas ran a balanced budget. Now, of course, they were helped by the Obama stimulus, which Perry accepted. Which I guess, what's his name, Jindal refused, a couple of them refused, but Perry accepted. He's no fool. Worth $6 billion, I believe, for Texas. But now this year, Texas's budget is just like everybody else. Why was California's budget deficit the worst? Because we had the biggest housing blow-up. End of revenues. Okay, so that's all very geographic, isn't it? And then, of course, we're edgy about the weather, aren't we? Well, now, Rick, Texas drought, what the hell? We've lived through it before, we'll live through it again. That's the old frontier spirit. Let's see. I think this is on several indexes. This is the worst weather in history, but it's certainly right up there. It's certainly the worst tornado period, I think, in 100 years or 50 years, 70 years, something like that, and through that tornado alley there that wiped out Joplin, Missouri. That's a picture of Joplin. And we'll see how the hurricane season goes. Irene is about to go all the way to Boston, they say, so we'll see how that goes. What about that? One of the greatest heat waves in memory, which fortunately in the Bay Area, because we have natural air conditioning, we don't get. We stay nice and cool. Does that have anything to do with anything? So the geographic crisis comes down to, is the U.S. losing its edge? Is the world passing us by? Is our power of our empire weakening? We'll have a lecture on that. Are we wrecking the earth and bringing climate change? Those are all worries that you, certainly as young people, but also at the level of politics, are in there. There's somewhere in the national subconscious or conscious being fought out. And they should all be taken very seriously. Though, as I'll say in a few minutes, it's hard to believe what's being said in the national political debate because it doesn't seem to talk about any of these things, which says something about the state of our nation, too. Okay, so the economy today. What happened? Well, we're in the middle of the Great Recession. Why is it called the Great Recession? It's the worst financial blow-up and downturn since 1929 to 33. The Great Depression, it was called. And these kind of mega financial collapses seem to only happen at pretty wide intervals, 50 years or longer. There was a big one back in the 1870s, which in England triggered what they call the Great Depression. There was a big one in the